Hello there and welcome to my channel. This is Non-Gone and today we're playing NASCAR Heat 5 on the PS4. This is chapter 4 in a 5-part series of getting all the trophies, a full walkthrough, full platinum walkthrough. This video is going to be challenge mode. So we're right in here and you see challenges 0 of 24 completed. There are 3 trophies associated with this. One's for completing 1 challenge, one's for completing half, which is 10, by the way. I know it says 24, and one's for completing all of the challenges. And you see they got these free packs. Those do not count. I really thought that would be cool to supplement and use these to substitute some of the harder ones in this, but it does not work. You have to do all 20 from the base pack, and you can't do any of these to have them count. So a few of them are very difficult. A few of them are very tricky. Most of them are not too bad, but there's a few that would make you pull your hair out if you had hair. However, the game in some cases is either poorly designed or poorly communicated. Not to knock the game, I enjoy it, and I didn't pay for it. It's part of my PlayStation Plus subscription, so like it's definitely worth every penny. But there are some things that you probably wouldn't know if you weren't looking at a guide. Since you are, I'm going to show you a trick. If you set up, first of all, let's go into our general options so I can show you, because these normal challenge modes in games, the options are set so that the challenges are balanced. This game does not do that. If you set the AI lower, it'll be lower in the challenge. So check this out if you need to pause to see what I'm putting down. I have this on expert. We're going to switch it back to normal in a minute. But I got draft effects high because it'll help you catch up when you're going faster. And then everything is compressed and the AI is as bad as I could possibly make it. So if you need to pause and check out those options, go for it. Anyway, so that's your general options in here. But there is an interesting trick, which I will show you. And if it involves the setups in quick race. And so if you go into, let's say, New Hampshire, which is one we want to do, and you continue into the race, you will see in the top right corner it says car setup, and this one is set up for a custom race. You won't see that if you have the difficulty preset to normal or easy. It's got to be hard or expert to be able to change these. That's why we got it on expert for now. I've went ahead and did these so that they're all ready to go for the ones that I need. So before you start challenge mode, go into New Hampshire and set it up exactly this way. Use a custom setup, and I'm not going to talk about each individual one. I don't even know what these do. I'm not an expert on springs and cambers, and I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know how it affects your lap time. This one came from the setup man, so thank you for that. It really helped me get the one challenge that's on this track. So if you do this and you save the setup, when you go into challenge mode and have expert preset applied, it will apply that setup to your challenge. And I've never seen that ever in a game. It doesn't even tell you that it's doing it. But when you start getting lap times that are a second faster than what you were able to do after an hour of doing the challenge, you know it's true. You know it works. So do that one for New Hampshire. And go ahead. You don't have to do specific setups, but for Kansas, you don't need to do a custom setup, but you do want to see the slider here. You can go tight and loose. It will start you at tight for every course. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks and save that. And go ahead and exit the race. So that is called preset 5. If you watch a guy named Rowdy Matt 51, he's going to have the custom setup that we're going to do next. He does all of the challenge videos and walkthroughs on it, basically what I'm about to do. I'm going to do it a lot simpler. He is a professional esports player, so nice job. I loved watching those videos. It really helped me get through there, Rowdy Matt. So if you ever watch this, thanks. But yeah, he refers to that as preset 5. He says that's what it loads in when you go to challenge mode. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm changing it in quick race for the tracks that are hard, just to make sure. So custom setup for New Hampshire, preset 5 for Kansas. So just go in there and slide the slider over, and then do the exact same thing for Charlotte. And that will cover your NASCAR part. We're going to have to do one for a dirt track as well. So we're going to pick Tony Stewart and go down to Las Vegas. And we're going to go into the setup here, and I'll show you that screen. I won't keep it up for too long. Just pause it if you need to look through there and adjust your own game accordingly. And thank you to Rowdy Matt 51 for this one. This was the first custom setup that I used. It is for challenge 14 that's on a dirt track. It is my least favorite challenge. It took me hours and hours. You almost have to be perfect. This setup will take almost a half a second per lap off of your race and allow you to be less than perfect. And that is definitely what I need, because I'm not that good at this game, but I'm going to try and do it fast. So anyway, that's all I got. So make sure you use preset 5 for Kansas and Charlotte, and you can do this before you start challenge mode. If you're doing a speed platinum, I definitely suggest you do it. It'll save you like 10 minutes of fiddling with the settings and loading screens. If you do all that before you get a trophy, then it doesn't count on the timer. So preset 5 for Kansas and Charlotte, special setup for New Hampshire that I showed you, and then dirt track Las Vegas, special setup for there. And then we are ready to go into challenge mode. So you just go down here to race modes and go into challenge and hit the base pack, and there's the 20 that you have to do. And the first thing you want to do, because we switched it to expert, you want to change this back to normal and resume. You can do that mid-race too, by the way, if you want to get really cute. Now, normal will slow you down a lot, but also you don't have to take your foot off the gas. You don't have to worry about braking points. You don't really have to worry about anything. And I'm going to restart this one, because every time I switch presets, it gets weird. But yeah, normal will generally be fast enough for the first like 8 challenges if you are smooth and stick to the inside or run out and out, which I'll show you in challenge 2. So just draft whenever you can. We got it turned up to high, so it'll help you catch up. And then take the inside course, and don't ever give up the inside lane if you can help it. And you see, right as we're crossing onto the last lap, I'm passing the first guy. I didn't even do a very good job on this race. I got a little bit loose and a little bit spun out by the third place guy, and we were still able to get in front by the last lap. So, and that should do it for challenge number 1. Again, keep it on normal. You see we got our first trophy. It'll be a while before we get our second. But yeah, keep it on normal. Don't take your foot off the gas. Go out and out, which we'll talk about in challenge 2. And I'll see you then. And here we are in challenge 2. We're going to use the, I call it high, low, high, but out in out works too. Just when you get to the main corners, you just want to start on the outside of the track and then very smoothly, try not to bump into the track like that, into the wall like that. Just drift on down here. That was probably a little early, but that's okay. You see how much speed we carry through it, even on normal, where the driving aids are slowing you down. Again, try to draft if you can. And then come on down like this. And you should get around these guys right at the last part of the lap here. Yep, there it is. And it was close, but you are done with challenge 2. So this is challenge 3, and this has been giving me fits for some reason today. I have no idea why. I've had no problem with this at all in any of my practice runs, just putting it on normal and working my way up through this. But anyway, it is luck-based, and so there's going to be some crashes. That was the first one right there. And you just want to go down to the apron and avoid it and keep as much speed as you can. Again, you should be in 17th place, and you should be able to draft some of these fools that are in front of you. And the second wreck's going to be right now. You see them right there. And they're going to come down, and you should come out in 9th place and be right up drafting the pack. And I have no idea why it's not doing that for me. I've even changed the custom setup now, and I'm playing on expert just to see if I can get enough. So we're going to try and draft here and come down and get down low, just like we always do. And we're at about 198, which should be enough. If you are drafting the pack coming out of this last corner, then you should be able to just scoot on the inside and pass everybody on this last corner. And it looks like we're finally able to do it. So I got a retro tell you what I did. I went back into quick race, and I changed the setup to preset 5. Just like we did for Kansas and Charlotte. But we did complete number 3. And then I switched the preset to expert. So we're going to go back to normal and try number 4. And hopefully my controller's not busted. This one should not be a problem. this very smooth. You only have one guy to catch. So 34.8, 34.7 is a good time to shoot for lap times. If you do that, you will catch him on about the 5th lap. And you see we got him right here, and we'll pass him on the next go-around, which is right there, and then there should be no turning back. And we're done with challenge 4. Next up is number 5. So for this challenge, you're going to get 7 laps. We've already done a few. 31.3 is a pretty good time by using high, low, high like this and just keeping it on normal and not taking your foot off the gas. You should be able to get those lap times, and if that's the case, you will catch the pack right before the end of the race. And there you go, that's the start of lap 300, and we actually caught him a little bit better, a little bit quicker than that. We still got one whole turn, but we'll be in first right now. And you're done with challenge 5. And we're going to start challenge 6. And we're still on normal here, and we're at Darlington. High, low, high works pretty good. Just remember that you can only use half the track at Darlington, as you can see. I like to use that dotted line and keep any part of my car on it, and that will still keep you in the low groove, so you can come all the way down, like, you know, about here where you're driving and not really slow down that much. But yep, just draft when you can and work your way up through the field and be smooth, and you should be victorious. And there you see we're about to pass the leader on the very last turn. And that'll do it for challenge number 6. All right, so challenge number 7 is really fun. Denny Hamlin is the car in my rear view right now, and he's the only car that's faster than you. So he'll be right back there the entire challenge if you let him. What I prefer to do is that and just take him out. So there he goes, and that's going to be the end of this challenge. Just enjoy your nice 13-lap trip, and I'll see you at the end. And there we go. Again, just to recap, we left the settings on normal, didn't take our foot off the gas. When Denny Hamlin came up on the first turn, we took him out. Woo! And then turned left 26 times, and now challenge 7 is complete. All right, challenge 8 is a fun one. It's one of the spins ones. I think there's 2 of these. But normal is fine. We're going to get cute. So I'm going to show you what is supposed to happen in this. You're going to go whoopsie like that, and the object is to get back on the track and take off and win the race. But because the spin is scripted, there's something that we can do to make it a little less random and a little bit easier. And what that is ride the wall. So we're going to come right over here, and we're just going to sit right here, and it's going to shake like that. And that was the spin. It's just we happened to be stopped and against the wall, so it wouldn't let the car spin. So that was pretty tricky. But what that allows us to do, of course, is, and I don't even know what that was. That was weird. But what it allows us to do is come back out in relatively easy position, and you should have no trouble at this point taking out that last guy. And there you go. We got him on the hairpin. And strangely enough, I took it too fast. Didn't know you could do that on normal, but okay. And once they're in your rear view, you're pretty much done. And that's it for challenge number 8. All right, so challenge number 9 is going to be a dirt track. And if you have not done dirt track racing yet, I feel like this could be a completely different game. I assume, I understand why they put it in. It's because actually this guy right here, Tony Stewart. But it's kind of like different physics and different cars and different tracks. And I don't know, it's kind of refreshing to do them every once in a while. But it's definitely not the same as a regular NASCAR or truck race. So anyway, you're going to be drifting through all of these corners. There's not really much to say. You just let off the gas and let the car break traction, point at a kind of a 45-degree angle, and then try to get out of the slide as quickly as possible. This particular challenge is not that difficult compared to the other one, but it does help to kind of practice. You see, we're in lap 4 out of 10, and we're already in second. And you can keep it on normal for this. Expert mode will get you faster times because, you know, the driving assist won't slow you down, and you're not, it's all stability control, and you want to be unstable anyway. But you see, we'll catch them. And there you go. Just like I said, just keep it in a drift around the corner and try to get out as early out of the corner as you can. You don't accelerate until you're straight again, so just keep that in mind for future dirt track racing. For the most part, you're going to have a good enough car throughout your entire experience here that it will not be an issue. And there you go. After turning left 20 times for 10 laps, you will be in first, and that'll be challenge number 9. And challenge number 10 is the first time, if you didn't have to switch to expert in challenge 3 like I did this run, this will be the first time you use expert controls. It's going to be pretty slippy. You have to slow down yourself on curves, but you're already slippery anyway, and you really need the extra time for this. There is a lot going on in this challenge, and I'll do my best to describe everything to try and get you where you need to go. So you have to pit, and you want to hit your brakes on this third hash mark right here. I'm doing a terrible job of it. Come in late. Make sure you are under 45 miles an hour when you hit that yellow line right there. Take no fuel and make sure your repair time is 0. And that's the best you can do for this. I know that was really quick, but I mean, there's not a lot of time to describe it in the thing, and I don't want to pause. I might redo it and pause it. Who knows? So once you get into your pit stop after this interminable wait, you want to look, and your pit time should be 15 to 16 seconds. And that is what you want. If you have one that's 30, you definitely want to restart because you got penalized. You came in too fast. Make sure you're under 45 miles an hour when you hit the yellow line. Now, you saw in the animation, the cars go by while you were getting your pit. And you want that to happen at around about 10 seconds of your pit time. Like as it's counting on the clock, you'll see them go zooming by. You want that to be about 10 seconds. Anything slower, and you probably won't have a lot of time, enough time to catch up. Because we're on expert, I think we still have enough, and so I'm going to give it a go. But this is a relatively forgiving track, and this is one of them this is Kansas, where we did the little setup, so it's a little bit looser and a little bit faster than it would normally be. And so just kind of scoot through and take your foot off the gas anytime you start drifting up the track, and try to go high, low, high. And you're looking for a time. So if you come in and have a 15-second pit like that, and they go zooming by at 10 seconds, you have to run laps that are about 33.5 to catch them. With the expert setup, you see we're at 32.7, so we're 0.8 of a second on each lap over that, and we're going to need it because I saw they went by at like 8 or 9 seconds. So that's pushing it just a little bit. But because we have the expert setup, and because we use the preset 5 from Rowdy Matt, we have almost a second per lap to play with. And you see we're catching up to them, and we still have a whole nother lap. So we should be in good shape. But yeah, pitting is tricky. You don't want to go down on the apron too early because you can spin out, especially with bad tires. The banks on the corners will keep you from doing that. So try and time your pit so that you slam on the brakes about the third hash mark, and you should be in pretty good shape. You see we've got one more corner, and we're smoking them because we got good tires and a great setup. So as long as you don't slam into the back of somebody like an idiot, like I just did, you should go right past them. But we're still faster, so we'll prevail. But yeah, that's the trick. Get into the pit, make sure you're under 45 so you don't get penalized, and watch the cars zoom by, and you should finish challenge 10. Again, 33.5. If you can run laps better than that, you should catch them with that strat. And that was our 10th one, so we are halfway done. Good job. So let's move on to 11. Okay, so a couple of things about challenge number 11. Is that what we're on? Yeah, 10 was the pit. So if we're going to go back to normal presets and restart the race. So that's the first thing, get back to normal. This is a road course, and I don't suggest doing a road course on expert or hard unless you want to become an expert. There's just so many corners and so much you have to do, and this normal setting allows you to not worry about any of that. The second thing that's important to know, and you see me being very aggressive, is that Harvick and Truex are faster than you on this. And the other cars are not really, but it is kind of a nail biter of a race. So if you get through to this point right here and you haven't wrecked at least Harvick, then you should probably reset and run them off the road until they're gone. Because you see my rear view, these guys are not going to go away. They run faster. The second thing, or the third thing actually, is very important. Even on normal, you have to use your brakes on these chicanes. So be cognizant of that. If you come in there at full speed, the driving aids for some reason are not programmed to slow you down enough in those. And so you just kind of go bumping your way through. You might still win anyway, but it's not from effort. It's just from pure luck. The third thing is these curbs on the corners are really bumpy. So just try to stay off of them entirely. And pretty much other than that, like I said, you're going to have people up in your grill the entire race. Try to block them and do the best you can. It's 3 laps on this course, and it's kind of tough. But if you stay on the gray, like darker gray part of the track, that's where the AI will stay too. And so they won't pass you because you're in their way. You're in their lane. So that's about all the advice I can give you for this one. And I'll see you at the end of lap 3. Whew, all right, yeah, I definitely did not take Truex out enough, and he was on my tail the whole time. But we were good. I stayed the inside lane, so we're done with that. That's challenge number 11. And here we go. We are at challenge number 12. We're going to switch to expert and keep it here for 12, 13, 14, 15. This is my least favorite stretch of these challenges, and they're all pretty difficult. I probably should have reset, but... So Kansas is one of the tracks that we put on preset 5 from Rowdy Matt. And I'm doing a terrible job of racing here. I've hit the wall. I've wrecked a couple of people. Just, it takes a minute to get used to expert again because you can't just hold down the gas pedal and start talking. But we're awful fast on this setup. So I think I'm just going to keep rolling, because I think we're still going to win. And, yeah, I think we should be all right. So, again, just we've already done Kansas. When you start scooting up the track, that's when it's time to take your foot off the gas and let yourself come back down. And you see we're still in first, even with a bad race. And it's really not even close. So, again, expert mode. Preset 5. Thanks, Rowdy Matt, again for that. And we're done with number 12. That easy. Okay, so this is challenge 13. This is the one that killed me yesterday. I spent like an hour getting this right yesterday. And the first thing you need to know is that Kevin Harvick is faster than you. So you need to take him out, whatever cost. If you could do it on the first corner, that's great. The second thing is to use a custom setup, which we got from the setup guy. And the third thing is to ride the wall. I want to say, who was that? Ross Chastain that did that in real life? And there's no penalties in this, so, just go nuts. So we're using an expert setup, and we're just slamming into the wall every time, going around. Eventually the damage will do you in, but it doesn't really matter for us. So that was probably a bad curve to do that on. And it might, okay, it should still, yeah, we should still be good. So we were able to block him. So that looked kind of crazy, but what we did was an expert setup. We took Kevin Harvick out, and then we slammed into the wall. And you can take your foot off the gas a little bit. If you keep it to like 109 or 110, you will be competitive. If you put this on normal on this challenge, these cars are faster than you coming out of every turn, and it will be unbelievably frustrating. If you put it on expert and you've used expert mode as little as I have, these corners on New Hampshire are kind of the worst. And it's not even a knock on the game. It is correct. It's just they're very difficult for somebody who doesn't use this mode very often. So the way you get around it is an old trick that I borrowed from the original Daytona back on Sega Saturn, which is to start in lane 2 and just slam right into the wall and take that first bounce and use that as your brakes. You can get away with it here, and it's because it's only 2-lap challenge. So there you go. But that was 13. Feel free to be a jerk, knock people out, whatever you got to do. All right, and challenge 14 is where I had all kinds of problems the first time I played through this game. This took me about 2 hours, I think, and is the thing I think about when I think about the hardest thing to do in this game. This is what caused me to turn to Rowdy Matt. It's what made me learn about the little exploit in the quick race, where you can set custom setups and use them. You're going to get, like, if you use, like, expert, normal, or hard, you're going to get, like, 26.5 for your first lap, and then 15.8s are about the best you can do, no matter what setup you have. And that is only barely good enough. You have to run, like, all 5 laps at basically that pace to pass the first place car. With Rowdy Matt's setup, you can see we're, like, 2-3 tenths below that on a good lap, and even the bad laps are about 16 flat. So this allows you to be so much faster. You do want to try and maintain no contact with anybody. Like, that was a bad choice, what I did there. And you can use the apron and be all the way up against the wall if you want. But as you saw, even the bad lap, when I hit some people, it was still 16 flat. And that should be plenty to get through this challenge. You see 15.7, and we're already in 7th with like 3 laps to go. .6. I've gone even as low as like 15.2 when I'm really paying attention and not doing commentary. And again, you do not have to hit your brakes. You're just spinning until it starts to lose grip, and then holding that angle the entire time. And you see, even with a huge mistake like that, we're coming up on the last corner, and we should go right. Oh no. We should go right past them and still be fast enough to win. So that was a pretty bad run of one of the hardest challenges. And because of that setup by Rowdy Matt, we were still able to prevail. So thanks, Rowdy Matt. You kind of made my speed run here with that. I was figuring that would kill like 2 hours, and I didn't know if I could ever do it again. So thanks for that. Let's move on to 15. So 15 is one of the trickier ones. If I were budgeting retries and hadn't already blown the budget on number 3 this time, this is where I would put probably 15 more minutes in just for retries. The problems are, there's a couple of problems. Number one, you have no tires. That's sort of the point of the challenge, is your tires are bald, and so you're going to slip everywhere. But the bigger problem is that the cars are fast. They're too fast for normal mode, in fact. So if you could just use the driving age, you could just hold down the gas and it would correct for all their spins anyway. But that's not going to be the case. You're going to have to actually learn how to make these corners. Fortunately, they're both the same. So once you get good at the first one, you'll be good at the second one. And basically, you do not want to hit the brakes. You just want to come in real gentle like this, and then take your foot off the gas and drift down to the bottom and stay down there. If you start coming up the track, take your foot off the gas. And if you start going down the track, put it back on. And it will allow you an exit velocity that is enough to pass all the cars that are here. Again, we have expert mode on, and so that means it will not slow down for you. And you want to be very gentle through these corners because any oversteering will also spin you out. So just keep that in mind. It's, like I said, very skill dependent. The other ones that are hard to get right the first time are kind of luck, but this one is very skill dependent. And you see, we're on lap 3. We're just starting our last lap, and we're in about 7th, and that should be fine. Like I said, you just want to go real slow. 160 is fine, is a real good number, and that allows you so much speed coming out of this corner that by the time you get to the next one, you've already made up, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 car lengths. And so then you just have to don't mess up the last corner, which I've already done twice. And maybe block right there, and we're good. We came out the corner, and we're way faster than everybody, and that's it for challenge number 15. But if you're doing a speed plat, I would definitely suggest practicing that one. If you have trouble with it, maybe make that your first thing before the clock starts. You know, you get one free race before your first trophy, so if it takes you a long time to win that one, that might be the one. All right, so 16 is a spin out challenge, and first thing you can do is switch to normal. So that's going to work out great. We're done with expert mode now for the remainder of the game. Any of the other modes, we can use normal presets for everything. And then this one is probably going to be some repeats, like some retries, because it is very luck-based. Again, they're going to spin everybody out at the beginning of lap number 2 out of a 2-lap challenge. And your job is to recover from that and win the race. And the way you want to do your spin out is grinding the wall just like before. So get over here and wait for everyone to spin. And then try to get out in front of the first place car, just like that. And you should be good. Use your rear view to block if you need to. And your normal preset will keep you from having to do anything. And again, yep, see, we're just blocking, and there you go, you get a first. That is like my 4th or 5th try, so that's pretty good for this. It might take 10 or 12. Sometimes the first place car recovers really quickly or doesn't spin at all. But you see the spot where you want to avoid. The most important thing is to avoid the spin yourself, because if you spin out, you're pretty much toast. So that's it for 16. Let's move on. All right, and 17 is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to show the whole challenge. It's 5 laps at Pocono. If you put it on normal and run a nice smooth race, you will pass the final person, the final 2 people on the final lap. But other than that, you see we're catching up. You should pass the 5th place car on the first corner of the 2nd lap, and then pretty much 1 lap per car until the end. And I'll see you at the end there. And that'll do it for challenge number 17. So we're in the home stretch now. All right, so 18 is, I think, again, I don't understand the mechanics. And so as a result, I'm not doing that well at it. But usually I end up buffooning my way through it, and it works out fine. I think if I understood a little bit more about fuel management and how that works, it might be okay. The one advice that I could give you is that on normal, the driving aids are killing your speed for you, but the gas pedal is still fully pressed, so it's counting as gas. If you cheat and just use all of the track here, you should be okay. Coming out of here, you see you're starting to like run out of gas. And this dude's going to go flying past you. And if you take him out, then you should be okay. So from a combination of taking your foot off the gas, using all of the track, including the apron, it won't even let you pit, and then aggressive driving at the end, you should be able to prevail. Again, expect to take 4 or 5 retries on that. If I understood how to conserve fuel in this game, then I could probably help you. But sorry, that one's one you could just buffoon your way through. So that's 18. So 19, right? You start at 0 miles an hour, and your job is to get up and catch up. You get somebody to help you get up to speed. And I think what you're supposed to do is let them pass you. And I'm not very good at that. because I think you can draft with them behind you too. But let's try it with passing. Yeah, it's just not really working for me. Like, this is exactly how you don't use a draft buddy. So, all right, there we go. So basically the goal is to let this guy pass you and then stay right on his tail, or her tail, until you get fully up to speed. And I actually think you can just bump draft them too, which means hit them in the back. And just do that for about like 2 straight laps, and that will help you catch up to the pack better. So we're going to try that. The last time I did this, I blocked them the entire time. And that worked pretty well too, actually. So, I don't know. It does help you catch up. And if you can see him in the front by the end of 298, then you can win by 300. So, and you see we're coming into the last turn here. And I think we got enough speed. It's going to be close. Yep, just made it. So congrats, that's challenge number 19. We've got one more to go. All right, challenge number 20. This is my favorite one. So we got a flat tire, and this is where normal mode is going to come into handy. If you've been doing expert mode and you have a lot of trouble with this one, just switch it down to normal. It's great. It's perfect. So they have this setting called wall avoidance. And you see how we kind of roll up into the wall and then sort of go whoop, and an invisible cushion pushes us back. We're going to be using that cushion pretty much exclusively. Just go ahead, and I'm not even taking my foot off the gas. I'm just letting it run itself up into the wall. Try and go in a little bit early. It'll bring you up in here, and it'll drop you back down. And you just hold left, and it'll take you back down into the thing. And you just do that like, 4 more times here. And, you know, you may hit the wall a couple of times, but like very quietly. And you've basically completely defeated the purpose of the challenge. I don't know. It feels cheeky and cheap, but that's what speed plats are. And it's a platinum guide. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. So if you want to put this on expert and try to drive with a flat tire, it's kind of fun. I ended up doing smash into the wall anyway on my original run on expert. So it didn't really change the strategy that much. It's whoop, there you go. It's like playing bowling with the gutters. You know, they put those little like airbags in the gutters. That's how I feel. Anyway, had a good time with that one. We get King of the Hill. That's for getting all 20 challenges. So if you did that, congratulations. Some of these are really tricky and difficult, but hopefully with some settings and some plans, you will prevail. This is the most variable of the modes for this one. So on my speed plat, I'll probably be doing it first. I may do the 100% length race first because the clock hasn't started yet. So that'd be my first trophy. But I'll be right into challenge because I want to know if I'm going to have a good run or not. If you're doing speed plat, I suggest you do the same. The rest is time consuming, but it's very steady. You can win at leisure and you can skip through stuff at the same pace every time. So that's what I do. The current clock for this run is 2 hours and 8 minutes from the time I started the first challenge to the time I ended. And that included all 40 minutes of messing up challenge 3, which I feel like I'm going to keep in my split time, my plan, because I'm probably going to mess up a different challenge and have to relearn how to do it. It seems to happen every time. One time it was 13, one time it was 14, one time it was 3. I think I got stuck on the pit stop once when I was doing a run. So keep that in mind. Again, when you're doing split times for practice runs for speed plats, don't use your best time. Use the most realistic time, because nothing would be more frustrating than having to hit all 20 of these challenges on the first try for you to get where you wanted to go. Now, if you want to do that, that's fine, but that's starting to border on speed run and not speed platinum, which is a whole different can of worms. Anyway, I think I've said enough. I know this is a very long video, but it's also like how to do all 20 of these. So hopefully one of these helps you. I'll put chapter marks in for each one. And then we will go on to number 5, which is just going to be cleanup and quick race. We've done essentially everything else that there is to do at this point, if you're watching in order. I haven't filmed everything there is to do, but I'm going to go back and do 1 and 2 here in a little bit. And then we'll clean up on quick race, and we'll get our platinums and move on. And then I will do my speed platinum and hopefully top the top time. So you can see that, the results of that, in the first video in this series. So again, thank you for watching. Thanks for checking out the guide if you came from .org. And thanks for checking out the speed plat if you came from PSN Profiles. And I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, stay bad, people. Non-gone is gone.